The Ithaca Farmers Market is a cherished weekend destination for both students and locals alike. Even in mid-November, it draws sizable crowds, eager to enjoy its year-round offerings. For many students, the warm food, artisan crafts, and occasional live music make it an instant favorite. But for my friend Jeffrey from Brockport, New York, his first visit left a very different impression.
I was shocked. I'm used to the big containers. No one was selling the big containers. Like, maybe there were a few, but I don't remember any. Every farmer's market that I've known before coming to Ithaca has been, you go for cheap foods. You're mainly going there because it is cheaper than Aldi. Like, you are walking out with a week's worth of groceries for under 40 bucks.
Jeffrey's experience raised a compelling question. How could two farmers markets, just a couple of hours apart, create such drastically different impressions? To find out, I spoke with the market's organizational manager, who explained that much of it comes down to Ithaca's unique approach.
Generally, when you're doing small-scale farming, it's more expensive than corporate farming. But what you're also getting is knowing your producer, more nutritious food. We're not using sprays and things like that, so you're looking at food that's just better for your body.
So Ithaca's Farmers Market operates as a producer-only space, requiring all vendors to grow or create their products within 30 miles. This sets it apart from urban markets, which often contain many resellers or vendors traveling from far away. It's also different from most rural markets, where large-scale operations often sell excess or aesthetically imperfect produce at lower prices. Ithaca's market, by contrast, is driven by small-scale organic farms. This focus on sustainability and local production, however, comes with higher produce costs, shaping how people interact with the market. To explore this, I asked vendors and customers about their experiences here.
There are definitely some people that come and buy a lot of stuff all at once, but then a lot of people are maybe they'll pick up a bunch of carrots because they're hungry. Yeah.
I like to get breakfast or lunch.
A lot of people are walking around just taking Instagram selfies.
I think there's always a good weekend vibe.
Definitely, got a decent amount of tourists and college students that maybe aren't necessarily out for groceries.
I get a coffee, and then I usually get breakfast.
Some of those people are still open to buying some fruit to snack on as they walk around.
And then I look at all the produce, and it makes me want to cook, but I never actually end up getting anything.
But then we also definitely have a dedicated core of regulars that are here every week buying fruits and vegetables. That's what they're down here for.
We kind of do our shopping. We get fresh herbs here, whatever is in season. We have certain vendors that we see friends here. This is how we like to shop.
A lot of people come here for food because the time that we're open tends to be breakfast and lunch.
We usually get food, and we a lot of times get meat and vegetables and flowers in season. I like the honey here. I get the honey a lot too.
But we have a really good following of people that come here every week for their groceries as well.
This mix of casual visitors and dedicated regulars was something the market manager also highlighted.
Yeah, I think the locals, I would say middle age-ish, is probably and up is our sort of target demographic for fruits and vegetables. And you'll see those people are diehards. They will come 30 to 60 minutes before market starts to get their shopping and get out before the crowds come in. But we also understand that that's not really accessible for everyone, right? If you've got a limited budget, you're going to feed your kids what you can feed your kids. And so that's part of the reason that we do every nutrition incentive program we can possibly participate in, whether it's EBT or Fresh Connect checks. I think we participate in 5 different programs.
So I went back to Jeffrey to share what I'd learned, but as it turned out, he was already well aware of these challenges. Over the summer, Jeffrey had first-hand experience selling high-quality produce during his internship as a Lund Fellow for Regenerative Agriculture.
I was housed at the Syracuse Refugee Agricultural program of RISE in Syracuse, New York. My role there was to work in the teaching garden and help design and build a perennial and herb garden to hopefully be incorporated into sort of their teaching rotation. And then every Saturday we would end up going to the Syracuse Regional Market. So this was the first time that I was on the selling end. We had our own stand there, and it was very, very difficult, to say the least, to try and make money, because all of the produce that we had grown was grown under organic conditions, but we weren't certified. And in addition to that, because we were next to these resellers, we couldn't sell our produce for that much more. We had little pints of cherry tomatoes that were meticulously picked by hand, but when we got to the market, we couldn't price the produce much more than what the resellers were selling, or else we wouldn't get any sales.
Jeffrey's experience helps reframe the conversation around the Ithaca market's prices. By prioritizing a producer-only model, vendors can price their produce to reflect the actual cost of sustainable and ethical farming practices. Despite his firsthand understanding of the labor and care that go into small-scale farming, Jeffrey admits that he still struggles to justify paying the higher prices often found at markets like Ithaca's.
Well, just with talking to the farmers and seeing how much work they were putting in and the ways that they were cultivating these crops and managing, it really embodies the saying, like, choosing differently, using minimal inputs. And that's a far cry from like your conventional agriculture. So yes, obviously, a tomato at the Ithaca Farmers Market, some heirloom variety, is worth the premium compared to like some intergrow.
Do you think it's worth it to you?
Everything in my mind and everything about what I learn says yes, it is absolutely worth it, because currently we're just passing on the externalities of really cheap food onto the future. But going back to that very like selfish kid-like mindset that is always somehow still in the back of my brain, that would say no. Because you're asking for a quart of tomatoes what I would pay for an 8-quart container of tomatoes. So 8 times the price. Is the tomato going to taste 8 times better? No. Is it 8 times better for the environment and the people producing it? Probably. Can I afford to eat like that if I keep eating how much food No, probably not.
This tension between understanding the value of sustainably grown food while grappling with its costs mirrors a struggle many of us face. The Ithaca Farmers Market asks us to think differently about what we value in our food, the labor, the environment, and the community behind it. Perhaps the real question isn't whether it's worth it. It clearly is, but instead how we can build a food system where sustainability and affordability go hand in hand.